I've tried to run away from dance a lot and I can't. It kind of chases me around. But I think that confidence that it gave me and that ability to be okay with myself, it's given me a lot of strength. You're dealing with gravity, sexuality, your body, movement. I mean, mixing all those things can be a really wild ride and can be super scary, but the more bold you are, the more beautiful it's gonna look. You just have to be bold. Like, you cannot hold back, just like go for it. We kind of grew up like gypsies. We had no TV, no keys to the house, everything was open, there was animals everywhere. I didn't have a single rule. No curfew, nothing. My mom comes from North Africa. If you look into her eyes, you just see this beautiful child. She's so free, and she just downpoured us with love, like so much love. It's like, you can do whatever you want. I support you. You want to be a prostitute, you want to be a lawyer. I'm a little bit of a coyote when it comes to like authority. I'm not the best. I had nothing to rebel against. Everything I had to do was my decision. So it gave me an independence that I think I've carried with myself since that time. All the decisions I made, I understood the repercussions. Started dancing when I was 9, training in classical ballet and jazz. Pushing myself, dancing from basically 4 in the afternoon to 10 every night, not really having a social life, just doing that. And there was something really beautiful about connecting to my body and looking at myself in a mirror all day. That's why dancers are a little narcissistic. Then I moved to Budapest. I started studying Hungarian history and contemporary dance. That was my first introduction to contemporary, which totally changed my world. Well, ballet is really strict. I'm 6 feet tall, I have huge tits, I have huge feet. I'd have to like get men's point shoes. Nothing was working for me. And then all of a sudden there's this genre of dance where you could have any kind of body and you could move strangely. You could follow this surrealist approach to movement, a dreamlike approach to movement. Not always turn out and not always be super tall, but actually to get low and to get more inverted and to look ugly, to not always look pretty. Because I was modeling too. So I had people telling me I was fat from that. They just constantly made me go to nutritionists and locked me in closets, told me I had to lose 3 inches on my hips. And then you're dancing all the time where you have to be skinny for that too. And growing up in LA where everything around you is a billboard of a skinny girl. My dance studio is actually surprisingly very supportive of food. They encouraged us to eat. It really affects you. At that age, I have body dysmorphia. I constantly think I'm fat, like, it's awful. I have to every day like deny those thoughts and be like, this is ridiculous, stop. We have to change the way we see a woman. And then I moved back to the States and I shaved my head during a dance performance because I felt really defined by my hair. I got a lot of catcalls on the street and I wanted to see what it would be like to remove that part of my sexuality. And it was a trip. I would walk down the streets and it was silence. People thought I had cancer, people thought I was a guru, people thought I was a man. It was just my face and me. And it was frightening as fuck. But I loved it in the end. It was really liberating. I've been drawing dots on my face for 9 years now. Every morning I would do 2 right below my eyes right here. I use liquid eyeliner, so I'd have to wait for it to dry and stare into my eyes and kind of connect with myself in the morning, which became really ritualistic. If I felt a little bit off on one side of my body, I put a dot on that side to kind of help me align myself again. It's a little bit of a mask. Sometimes I feel naked when I don't have them on. And people recognize me as the dot girl. I'm wearing a very ridiculous green jumpsuit that makes me feel like a ringleader of a leprechaun circus. This part is the best because it makes a heart shape. I have size 13 feet. So I have to go to like tranny stores to get shoes. And I sit down in these like, plastic covered seats with very kind of creepy slick back hair dudes. They're just like stripper heels. I'm wearing flannel that someone gave me. I think my sister's boyfriend gave this to me. And then a very big Guatemalan, very heavy skirt that I kind of live in. It's kind of like wearing a blanket. I wear mostly men's shoes. I actually have the same size shoes as my husband, so we share. This is like 60s. It makes me feel like a wedding cake. And a friend of mine gave me this kimono. And my other friend gave me these weird colored fishnets that I've ripped a million times. I usually wear like really chunky jewelry and heavy things. I like a lot of fabric. It feels nice to be weighed down a little bit. I'm a bit in the clouds sometimes, so. I started teaching at 21. Had a room full of 40-year-old women that I didn't know what to do with at first, and then noticed that everyone's eyes were on the floor and started making a class about building confidence and feeling okay with yourself. I'd have them walk across the floor, stop in the middle, look at themselves in the mirror for 10 seconds and keep walking, and none of them could do it. All your issues come out in a dance studio. You're emotional, you're letting that out, you're physical, you're sweating, you're doing someone else's movement that can feel weird. But it's really beautiful too. I've had people tell me they got jobs after taking my class, or they could sleep for the first time, or whatever, it shifted their life. I injured myself twice in the last year. I don't know, I got out of bed one day and just fell to the floor and could not stand up. Herniated my disc. I just went into the darkest hole of my life. I got super depressed. And people kept telling me, look, it's mental. And I was like, no, it's not mental. This is so physical. And then when I realized that it actually was mental, I had to almost shake my back's hand and be like, okay, we're in this together. Did a lot of drawing and it really helped me. It was so meditative for me to draw. Me and 2 other women started a company called Wife, and that's been the biggest highlight of my dance career. And also we're totally married to each other all the time because we're picking each other's brains and just in each other's space all day. One thing we deal with a lot is identity, like are we 3 separate women or are we one creature? So in the end we come together and we become this one being. And we're all connected ultimately. You really do affect each other because you feel the same vibrations and you are made up of the same stuff. You know, there's no hiding, there's no perfect moment to make movement look good. You have to just go for it. I've had a couple out-of-body experiences where I don't remember the show at all. I just completely leave myself and it feels so special and good. There was one where I did a show in Echo Park. It was choreographed, not like super specific. It was a little bit more of like a structured improv. But I totally left my body, and I remember seeing one girl's top came off and I remember seeing her tits and I just wanted to grab them. I just went straight for her tits. I became very animalistic and I felt like a beast, or I just got really, I don't know, kind of wild. And then after the show, people were like, oh, that was great. I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, the show. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I think it's when I'm most genuine to myself is when I feel the most beautiful. When I'm doing something that drives me, that gives me a purpose. There's such a fear of being bored or having nothing to say or not doing anything. We're constantly about doing. So I actually really focus on contemplation and letting go and being able to just observe. Look up and watch the trees for 4 or 5 hours and not feel guilty, and not feel like I should be doing something else, but that is actually a sacred moment and that is really special. I really feel like I live it. Just the fact that I'm dancing and able to relatively support myself doing that. This company has been a dream come true, and I feel so lucky in my life right now. It's really crazy. I know that sounds so ridiculous, but yeah, I feel like I live in my dream. But tell me,